I'm on Johnny getting a break because my blood pressure is real high. I keep telling y'all, leave me alone.
The Green Man Challenge is all about generational health. We trying to make 10K of a day a bare minimum. You heard? 10K a day of vitamin A, the bare minimum. What? In fact, as the divine soil, we trying to turn you into a plant. We want the various chlorophylls to be in your blood 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want you to feel the benefit of what it feels like to build a circulating pool of pigments. A circulating pool of pigments. Now, you've never, ever felt your body with a full bloodstream of pigments 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is a brand new level of health to reach, brand new level of mental health and cognitive ability. Pass these seeds on. The Green Man. Yeah, and then there's that. We're going to make sure that your insides are clean.
Diabetes affects melanin?
A little.
What you heard about?
I want to say or make a guess that maybe with the pigmentation, like it may be kind of, you know, like to get through, I want to say, because of our genes.
Okay. Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yeah.
What is melanin?
It's a biological chemical in your skin that creates pigment.
Okay. What about, have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yeah.
What's diabetes?
Your lack of ability to break down sugar in your body.
My dad has diabetes.
So let me ask y'all this: have you ever do you drink cow's milk?
I have drank cow's milk. I've cut down a bit, but I drink a little.
Does it have vitamin D in it?
Yes.
Where does it come from?
The cow? I don't know.
There he is. Up, Homo. Up. Is he vicious? No, he's perfectly harmless. Well, he only has the mentality of a child, 7 years old. Does he ever get out of control? Oh, once in a while he kind of gets nervous and excited, but we always calm him down by giving him candy or sweet things. He loves candy.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
I have not.
Okay. Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
What you know about diabetes?
The blood sugar, and a lot of people have it.
Okay. What about cow's milk?
I do not.
You don't drink it?
You said cow's milk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You drink it or you don't?
I do drink it.
Does it have vitamin D?
I do not.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yeah.
Can you describe melanin?
It's the color pigment in your skin that produces brown pigments.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
Can you describe diabetes?
It's a condition. There's type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is, like, as you mentioned, insulin-mediated response that's not sufficient, and then you can also not produce enough insulin. Type 2, you are not responding to your insulin anymore.
Can you describe diabetes attacking melanin?
Unfortunately, no.
Do you drink cow's milk?
No.
And why?
It's gross.
Have you ever heard of melanin before?
Yes.
What's melanin?
Now, see, that's the trick question.
No, it ain't.
It's black people.
Okay. You ever heard of diabetes before?
Yes.
What's diabetes?
It's it's not a disorder, but it is where your pancreas isn't producing the proper stuff to break down the sugar in your body.
What about cow's milk?
Cow's milk, no.
You drink it or?
I don't have an answer for that one.
No, I mean, do you drink cow's milk?
Oh, cow's milk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Does cow's milk have vitamin D in it?
Says it does.
Do you know where that vitamin D comes from?
No.
You ever heard that diabetes and melanin is mixed up, or that diabetes affects melanin?
A little.
What you heard about?
I want to say or make a guess that maybe with the pigmentation, like it may be kind of, you know, like to get through, I want to say, because of our genes.
All right. First question. Have you ever heard of melanin before?
Yeah.
What's melanin?
It's a pigmentation in your skin, right?
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yeah, my grandfather had diabetes.
What you know about diabetes?
I know it's 2 types. I remember my grandfather had one. He passed away from that and other complications, but I played football in high school with a guy, young guy. We graduated together. He also had diabetes, but it was like the lesser of the 2. I guess he was born with it, so I guess it wasn't like as bad or something like that. But I don't know much about it. I know my grandfather used to have to take these shots in his stomach. I think it comes from like eating too much sugar or something like that. But I don't know much about it though.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
Oh no, never heard of that.
What about milk? You drink milk, like cow's milk?
No, I go with the oat milk. The cow's milk messes my stomach up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said oat milk?
Yeah, oat milk. I mess with the oat milk.
All right. So first question: have you ever heard of melanin before?
I have.
Okay. What you heard about melanin? What is melanin?
Melanin is the pigment in our skin.
Okay. Have you ever heard of diabetes?
I have.
What's diabetes?
It's when your blood sugar doesn't make enough, or is it too high or too low?
Okay. You know what's cow's milk? You drink cow's milk?
I do not.
Why don't you drink cow's milk?
Because it's full of mucus. It's not really nothing that we're supposed to be drinking. I drink almond milk.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yeah.
Can you describe melanin?
No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yeah.
Can you describe diabetes?
Like type 1 and type 2.
Yeah.
Either one. I think type 1 is like an insulin, like your insulin receptor. Like you have like your cells are kind of like broken in the sense, and like then you can't like process it. Right?
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
I think so. Yeah.
Do you drink cow's milk?
No.
And why?
I think it's gross. I think the idea of it's really disgusting.
There he is. Up, Homo. Up. Is he vicious? No, he's perfectly harmless. Well, he only has the mentality of a child, 7 years old. Does he ever get out of control? Oh, once in a while he kind of gets nervous and excited, but we always calm him down by giving him candy or sweet things. He loves candy or sweet things. He loves candy. He loves candy. Watch. Homo. Yum, yum. Eat him up. Eat him up. Yum, yum. Eat him up. Eat him up. He calls candy yum, yum. Eat him up. Yum, yum. Eat him up. Everything's all right. Go ahead and open up. Thanks.
Yep, that's you all right.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Like melanin for sleep, or no, I'm thinking melatonin. So melanin, no, never heard of it.
Okay. Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
Can you describe diabetes?
Type 1 or type 2 or both?
Just diabetes.
It's where your pancreas doesn't create or produce enough insulin to break down the sugar in your blood.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No, I've never heard of melanin.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Not very often, no.
So why?
I just that's my choice and not really that available.
Okay, so the first question is, have you ever heard of melanin before?
That's the name of who? Melanin? That sounds like a female's name.
It's a pigment in your body.
Oh, that's what I just told him. Hey, now I pronounce it melanin.
Okay.
From the dark to the lightest one of them.
All right, three quick questions. Have you ever heard of melanin before?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a different shade of skin tone.
Okay.
How much pigmentation you do it on hair?
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's diabetes?
Bad. No.
The right answer.
It's elevated sugar levels.
Have you ever heard of diabetes and melanin mixed in any kind of way?
No.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you ever heard of diabetes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of that if you eat at home.
All right. Have you ever heard of melanin before?
No. Melanin? No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
What you know about diabetes?
Diabetes, blood pressure, no, hold on, diabetes, sugar, high sugar. That pertains to you if your sugar level ain't right or your sugar level lower too high. If I'm mistaken, my granddaddy died of diabetes back in 96. You take the pressure point for his finger and put it in the machine and it come out, read it. If it's too low, I eat a candy bar or a piece of candy or something to even it out. My uncle just died recently of that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of that if you eat at home. Sugar, hallelujah up in this house. You go shiny.
Have you ever heard of diabetes affecting melanin?
Hey.
Have you ever heard of diabetes affect your melanin?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
From the dark to the lightest one of them. Oh,
have you ever heard of diabetes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you get a lot of that if you eat at home. Sugar, hallelujah up in this house. You go shiny.
Have you ever heard of diabetes affecting melanin?
Hey, the hog will affect anything. The hog will affect anything.
You gotta take I gotta take a picture? Oh my goodness.
Have you ever heard
gorgeous.
of melanin? Have
Yes,
you ever
sir.
heard, you know what melanin is?
It has something to do with the skin.
Okay. You ever heard of diabetes before?
Yes.
What's diabetes?
It has something to do with your health.
You ever heard that diabetes and melanin is mixed up, or that diabetes affects melanin?
A little.
What you heard about?
I want to say or make a guess that maybe with the pigmentation, like it may be kind of, like to get through, I want to say, because of our genes.
I'm glad you brought that up. You know, when you come out of slavery, you ain't been over here about the blood I'm talking about between 400 and 500 years. We was raised on a lot of hogs. And our ancestors prayed on that hog, and the Lord blessed us to come through that hog.
Do you know what melanin is?
I sure don't.
Okay. All right. Have you ever heard of diabetes?
I have.
Okay. Could you tell us about diabetes?
Diabetes is when your sugar levels are off.
Have you ever heard of diabetes affecting melanin?
Yes, I have. Actually, isn't melanin like cancer? Cancer? Isn't melanin like cancer?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to go to Leviticus 18 when he was revealing to Moses about the children of Israel and what we're supposed to eat and not to eat. Now, God is God, and he'll lose his credibility if he wasn't. Now, God is God, and he'll lose his credibility if he wasn't. Like I said, being repetitious, God bless us to eat that hog back 400 when they brought the ancestors over here.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yeah.
Can you describe melanin?
No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yeah.
Can you describe diabetes?
Yeah, it's an insulin issue.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Yes,
Is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
I think so.
Is there more vitamin D or cow snot in cow's milk?
Well, don't really know how to answer.
God bless us to eat that hog back 400 when they brought the ancestors over here. He blessed us because the master, we had no choice but to eat buttermilk and cornbread in that hole after waking from sun up to sundown. You remember they chained us up in the beginning. Yeah, we tell the truth about us in this country, Babylon, United States of America.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Melanin? No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Oh, yeah.
Can you describe diabetes?
Well, it's a sugar problem with insulin.
Yeah. Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Do I drink cow's milk? Yes, I suppose I do, yeah.
Yeah. Is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
I have no idea.
Here comes Daniel. I remember when they brought us out, when they raided Jerusalem and brought us back there with Nebuchadnezzar, brought us there. And Daniel, he was telling them, he said, look here, bring the brightest one of us up between here, up here, so I can find out what the children of Israel, what they eat and what they do and so forth. But Daniel, hey, I'm gonna fast forward. Daniel was a slave too. He told that said too that he gained favor with him. He said, Nebuchadnezzar, so he said, give them the wine and the meat we eat. Apparently, in the United States.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yes, I have.
Can you describe melanin?
Melanin is the color of your skin pigment.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes, I have.
Can you describe diabetes?
In simple, it's your body's inability to either utilize your insulin or properly make insulin in your body.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No, not specifically, but I could see that it would.
Do you drink cow's milk?
No.
Why?
I'm vegan, and cow's milk is not meant for humans.
Hey, give that hog and that, eat all this here. Yeah, but I'm gonna go back to Daniel again. Daniel say, got to test this here. You say, give me for 10 days. You say, don't give me Nebuchadnezzar food. Don't give me this food up here in America that they give these slaves. He said, give me vegetables and water, and I'll prove to you I'll be looking better than Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Because you know they changed them names. But anyway, I ain't gonna go into all that history. But anyway, one thing about it, getting back to the melon. I've said all that to the melon. And I'm gonna go all the way back to the garden.
All right, 3 questions really quick, sir. The first question is, have you ever heard of melanin?
Yes.
What is that?
Stuff that makes sense.
Okay. Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
What is diabetes?
Stuff that makes people sick.
Okay. Have you ever heard of diabetes having anything to do with melanin?
No.
Get back to the melon. I've said all that to the melon. And I'm going to go all the way back to the Garden of Eden. When Father Yahweh, he told Adam, he said, the day you eat, I'm going to stop right there at E-A-T. You are what you eat.
Okay. Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yes, I have.
Can you describe melanin?
I think it's, I thought it was the pigment in our skin and something like that. There's something in our skin, or it could be in other places.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes, I have.
Can you describe diabetes?
Diabetes, I think there's several different kinds. There's adult onset. It seems when your insulin, you don't produce enough insulin to take care of the sugars that you're consuming. It's a horrible disease. You can go blind. You can lose your toes.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No, I did not.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Not very much anymore.
Why?
Because I don't think it's good for me.
I done told us what to eat. I'm gonna jump to Leviticus 8 chapter again. You know what to eat up here is. You know what to eat up in here in Babylon, in the United States of America. I'm talking about God's people now. I'm talking about God's people. I go all the way back to the Israelites. Who sent you? God. I am up here, man.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Actually, I haven't. No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
Can you describe diabetes?
That's when your blood sugar can become too high and it can hurt your body.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No.
Do you drink cow's milk? Is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
I haven't checked.
And he told us, he said, you Ethiopian, see, I'm going to bring you back. Hey, what you talking about bring you back, Lord, up here in this land? We done brought our ancestors and stripped us of our boy, our intelligence and everything, and stripped us and told us we this and that, changed name, and told us he did this. He said, what you mean don't bring?
Have you ever heard of melanin?
No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No, I haven't.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Cow's milk, yeah.
Is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
I'm not sure.
You know what to eat up in here in Babylon, in the United States of America. I'm talking about God's people now. I'm talking about God's people. I go all the way back to the Israelites. Who sent you? God. I am up here, man. And he told us, he said, you Ethiopian, see, I'm going to bring you back. Hey, what you talking about bring you back, Lord, up here in this land? We done brought our ancestors and stripped us of our boy, our intelligence and everything, and stripped us and told us we this and that, changed name, and told us he did this. He said, what you mean don't bring you back? Not materialistically. I'm going to bring you back in your soul and your mind and let you know who you are up here in Babylon, in the United States of America. Israel.
How you doing, sis?
Okay.
3 questions real quick. Have you ever heard of melanin? Do you know what that is?
No.
Have you ever heard of diabetes? Do you know what that is?
Yes.
What's diabetes?
Diabetes, like, wait a minute. They're trying to diagnose me with that. And it's something to do with your blood, eating habits or something.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of diabetes mixed with melanin in any kind of way?
No.
Now I'm going to take it all the way back. Now the last prophet came. Now this is who I believe in, the last prophet. I believe in Joshua way. I'll slash it to Jesus the Christ, that priest. I am a priest of the Most High.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Yes.
Can you describe melanin?
The type that I've heard is more skin color.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes, I've had some friends with it.
Can you describe diabetes?
So the diabetes I know was type 1, and it was more they just couldn't eat much sugar. If they did, they would have their diabetes kind of relapse, and it would just make their kidneys and liver kind of shut down on them.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
Yes.
Can you describe diabetes attacking melanin?
No.
Do you drink cow's milk?
Not much anymore. I used to when I was younger.
And why? Do you not?
Due to the saying, builds your bones. Parents saying it was raised on farms.
And is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
To my knowledge, yes, as well as more vitamin C.
And is there more vitamin D or cow snot in cow's milk?
More cow's snot in milk than vitamin D.
Now I'm going to identify myself. I am the first son of Isaac and Fertile. My spiritual name is Okapada.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
I recognize that word. Yep.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
Can you describe diabetes?
In Poland, sugar sort of thing.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No.
Do you drink cow's milk?
I do. Yeah, mixed. Yeah.
Is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
Great question. I don't actually know.
Now I'm gonna identify myself. I am the first son of Isaac and Pearl. My spiritual name is Okapada. That means first son in Nigeria. And I am a first son. And y'all know the prophecy when God came down with him, the inheritance. Now, that righteous seed, that first son, we're talking first son. I mean, yeah, you can get your females too, but that first son, we're talking the blood, that melanin, the original blood.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
No, I need more. I need more.
Can you describe melanin?
A sleepy one? How many questions, sir?
Melanin? Melanin.
Yes. Yes?
Yes? Have you ever heard of melanin?
No, I need more. I need more.
Can you describe melanin?
A sleepy one?
Can you describe melanin?
A sleepy one? How many questions, sir?
Melanin? Melanin.
Yes. Yes?
Yes? Have you ever heard of melanin?
No, I need more. I need more. How many questions, sir?
Melanin? Melanin.
Yes. Yes?
Yes? Have you ever heard of melanin?
No, I need more. I need more. How many questions, sir?
Melanin? Melanin.
Yes. Yes?
Yes? Can you describe melanin?
A sleepy one?
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes.
Can you describe diabetes?
So diabetes, to me, there's two types. There's type 1 and there's type 2. So there's the type that you're born with. I'm pretty sure it's type 2. I'm a little bit drunk right now. If you are born with diabetes, either way, it means that you cannot produce insulin properly. And that means that you can't process sugar, which can lead to a number of different, am I saying? Okay. It can lead to a number of different physical difficulties, such as, number one, you're probably carrying heavy weight.
Do you drink cow's milk?
No. Ew.
Why?
Dairy has always made me feel really weird since I was little, and I feel uncomfortable drinking it.
Yeah, from the earth that you're coming. We're going back. But I'm going to go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 7 when our brother Solomon was writing it. He was saying, the preacher say, hey, wait a minute, all this stuff is vanity, but the full duty of man is to love God and to keep his commandments. That is the full duty of man. I'm going to bring you back, Israel.
Have you ever heard of melanin? Can you describe melanin? Have you ever heard of diabetes? Can you describe diabetes?
Low blood sugar and deficiency.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
No.
Do you drink cow's milk? And why?
Yeah, now I'm going to go over to Moses now when he was up on the mountain Sinai, right? Oh, God, give him this first law. The first one.
Have you ever heard of melanin?
Melanin, I haven't, but it sounds like a medicine.
Have you ever heard of diabetes?
Yes, I have, my dear. My friends have had it.
Can you describe it?
I've had some during the hot summer days where they've, while we're car racing and stuff, and the sugar levels and stuff, and we've had to inject, and it's a big deal.
Have you ever? Oh, sorry.
Passed out at the wheel and stuff because of it.
Have you ever heard that diabetes attacks melanin?
I haven't, no.
Do you drink cow's milk?
I do.
And is there vitamin D in cow's milk?
I don't know, but I take vitamin D pills because Avon Svensson here works at a cow farm and milks cows for a dairy farm, and I get to drink it out of the tanks and stuff. But for vitamin D, I take that by pills. I am 50 years old.
And is there more vitamin D or cow snot in cow's milk?
I'm going to ask you to repeat that question.
Is there more vitamin D or cow snot in cow's milk?
I'm going to go vitamin D.
Tell Israel up here in Babylon, don't forget the Lord thy God that brought them out of slavery. I ain't going to you. He's been brought you out of Egypt, but I'm talking about up here. Up here in the United States of America. Who brought you out? Or some of you say the Gentiles or the Caucasians. No. God brought us out. You see, He'll bring us back and know who we are.
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe, they've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues. I've got great working relationships already in D.C. I've spent the last 10 years of my life building my political resume so that one of us, somebody who thinks like we do, could get into D.C. and make a difference. I want you to visit aliforcongress.com to find out more about my campaign. The Democrats have already done enough, and now they're putting illegal aliens in front of people like you and me, folks whose ancestors built this country and made it what it is today. So again, I'm asking you to support me in my run for U.S. House District 12 here in North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to support, because what happens in Congress affects the entire country. So again, it's aliforcongress.com. I hope to have your support. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace to the peace to the family. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking that we need to, yeah, maybe if we jump around in this article a little bit, it might refresh, it might answer some of the questions, right? You can't refresh a memory where the information doesn't exist yet. So the question is, I guess, kind of where we left off talking about the aura and the skin health and inflammaging and you know, in contrast, I guess, with melanin and just the whole conversation we was having. The reason why, you know, I played the clip, all things considered, I guess, time-wise, that couldn't be considered a clip anymore. I guess like after like 30 seconds to 5 minutes, and that was probably about 10 or 15 minutes. But the reason why I ran the video is because the landscape has not changed much. The landscape hasn't changed much. You know what I'm saying? There's still largely just confusion when it comes to asking people of color about color, and to compound it, because people think it's some type of large global conspiracy. We have every variety of skin involved with the actual, you know, little public interview process. So you have a black person interviewing a white person. You have a white person interviewing a white person interviewing a black person, a black and a white person being interviewed together. Like, so you not only get the dynamic of what does the public in general know about these topics so you understand where the information gap is. If we're gonna honestly say that it's information that's killing us, or lack thereof, like, because we're not starting on the one, and the one is knowledge, because we're not starting with knowledge of self, everything else is the problem, right? That's my argument, that because we're not starting with knowledge of self, everything else goes on from that space and goes on forward, right? So the question is, I guess, regarding the chlorophyll after it's being metabolized, and the secondary and tertiary, and before even getting around into the sciencey, the more sciencey part of it. I still think there's, we have these conversations on a regular basis. So it seems like there's a point where the novelty, or the ingenuity, or the, like, the idea of understanding the body as electric, we've discussed it for so long, especially in certain pockets. Because you had Robert Becker, you had the mainstream community, Robert Becker, and then you had the holistic community, Dr. Sebi, right? Those are the two camps or schools of thought that were proponents of the idea that the body is electric, right? And then you had smaller movements built in and around those two main large movements. Most people eventually found the other people. Thank you. And what I mean by that is, most of the people that were originally introduced to the human body being in part or in whole ran by electricity, if they were introduced via Robert Becker and his book, or his information, they would eventually find the Dr. Sebi alkaline diet.
Now, for us to eat, you have to have in your big skull the understanding of biochemistry.
And if they were initially introduced via the Dr. Sebi, alkaline diet program, the next step was to eventually bump into Robert O. Becker's book and start to make the correlations one between the other. And this is one of the biggest problems I have in terms of not as much being critical of Dr. Sebi, but of being critical of the pretenders, or the fake successors to the teaching. I guess being the teacher of teaching, the teacher of the teachers, the teacher of the teachers. If it's not all wise, right, and exact. You know what I'm saying? If it's not all wise, right, and exact. Because Dr. Sebi was saying he didn't learn anything from books. He belittled the process of study. And his whole science that he was teaching was biochemistry. This is the only reason why. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because there's no other through way. There was no way for you to interpret what Dr. Sebi was teaching about the alkaline diet into what Robert O. Becker was teaching with the body being electric, because they was on separate sides of the spectrum. Robert O. Becker was more anatomical science and you know, electric biology, whereas Dr. Sebi, you know, talking about alkaline and acid on the food scale and blood pH, that's more of a food thing. You know, that's where Dr. Sebi's space was, you know, quinoa and kale and blah, 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 blah.
And that name is Neil, man. I knew this day would come, brother. Once you had sent me that 36-page, well-written treatise, I knew the drugs had worn off. I had to be as critical as possible so that maybe you would leave all this alone. See, we could leave all of that in the past, man. All I want to know is, does 1 times 1 equal 2, man? You see, you just couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, Terrence? You know you can't just go around rewriting mathematics, right? It's not for us to do, Terrence. I have to get rid of you once and for all. You ain't gonna kill me, man. Oh, I am going to. Because there's only room for one black genius at a time, Terrence. And that black genius is gonna be...
Peace to the family. This is Abdul Ali, candidate for U.S. House District 12 here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's just be real, folks. The Democrats have destroyed our major cities. Their policies have made us less safe, they've given us less economic opportunity, and they've provided less educational opportunities for our children. And that's why I'm running for Congress, because I know what it takes to improve these issues.
My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin vs. Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. Before we jump around into these articles, you know, that's the main piece I wanted to talk about. Because I think anytime you begin to get into the food component, anytime you get into the biochemistry of it, the anatomy part of it, which are all different approaches that, you know, you can sound very articulate and intelligent, but you still somehow lose the electromagnetic nature of what's happening. And that's the part where I think the translation between maybe what some of our ancients may have described, written down, papyrus or otherwise, that at some point, because of our lack of information or the lack of sensitivity of our technology at the time, or the lack of our ability to, you know, research at a certain level, and, you know, whatever the case may be, right? Intensity of microscopes, you know, whatever. now we're in a space where the science is corroborating some of these things that we may have wrote off as non-scientific, pseudoscientific, or even mythological, right? You know, you really can't tell the difference between a pure, fantastic, you know, mythological, you know, story and a mnemonic device unless you have some code or way to decode the mnemonic device, or at least to understand there's a code that needs decoding in the first place. If you don't know that you're supposed to be extrapolating greater truths or some sort of scientific narrative from a story, then it can never serve as more than just a story, right? So I think that's maybe before even getting into the, you know, crossing T's and dotting I's and, you know, jumping around question to question, article to article real quick. I think that's the major thing to pick up from there. You know what I'm saying? That's the major. Just trying to go through some of the main questions in my head. Yo, somebody text me right now talking about we still don't know what you mean. All right. So here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying, right? And thank you for the question, or maybe the trolling, right? What I'm saying is the diet is directly connected to a couple of different things on a foundational level, right? To the body's energetic levels, performance, etc. Right? So there's a variety of ways to approach that. You know, one, you're talking about the diet forming your structures of your body, right? That'll be used for light, magnetism, electricity, or whatever the case may be. So that's one thing. The actual construction, maintenance, repair, right? But then you're talking about a different side of the diet or a different side of nutrition in terms of the actual components that are converted into the fuel source to drive the movement, the kinetics, right? The conversion of potential into kinetic, and it, you know, like, that's a whole nother side of the diet, right? But not any less unrelated. So now you have the diet, the tissue, right? The raw material that the electricity, light, or magnetism will have to act on or through. And then obviously you have the production of light, electricity, or magnetism from those tissues, right? So all of those things are connected when, you know, you talk about an aura, if you understand it back to that space. And what probed us to get into this, you know, this far into the conversation is the idea of understanding that food, you know, pigments, dietary pigments are still acting as pigments. And many of the metabolites that come from these foods are still acting as pigments as they're circulating throughout your body at a variety of levels, because light is penetrating your body at a variety of, you know, different depths and different levels, right? So UVB penetrates the skin, or UV light in general penetrates the skin on a very superficial level, right? Visible light much deeper, right? Near infrared even deeper, infrared even deeper. So it's levels to how far. And so now we're just getting this understanding of the different relationship to pigments that our body creates, like melanins, opsins, globins, etc. Now we've got to add into that dietary pigments. How many pigments should be circulating through the body on a day-to-day basis from food sources? That's not a plus on the guest list, right? Not a plus on the guest list. These are mandatory must-have, right? Mandatory must-haves. This is what you're supposed to have as a bare minimum per day, or you're getting sicker. And if it goes on for too long, it's going to become some sort of disease, right? That's what we're talking about with the dietary pigments. And so in the health space, we began the conversation, or early on, we set the conversation that, you know, the conversion of the ideas of makeup from ancient Egyptian context, and what the early formulas of that makeup was, that became, you know, foundation, and then different things to highlight and add color to the skin, right? We took it to the Greco-Roman era, right? Where they talked about the humors and the complexion and how that kind of lasted to what we have now in terms of Western academia. And I would say probably the biggest money now in the health space is complexion or skin, you know, in some form of fashion, that the skin is at the forefront of health discussions, surgery, money, products, everything you could think of, because of the reason that this ancient idea turned into mythology that got turned back into science is still the leading driver in people's perception of health, people's perception of longevity, right? How does your skin look, right? What is your aura? What is your aura? You know what I'm saying? Like, even when you deal with it in a scientific context and you don't use that type of terminology or even associate, and you're just talking about, you know, how a person look, you still would say words like bright, you know, yeah, bright or clear, the same thing you would use to describe a day. Oh, it's bright, it's clear out, you know, it's sunny, right? So it's a light-driven process. It's a light-driven process. And the only thing that harnesses and drives light, stores light, transduces light is pigment. So that's where the conversation, the diet, the anatomy, like I said, once again, all comes together in the foundation of what it is that we're trying to communicate, bring awareness to, and what level we've taken it to through the books so far. If that's making sense. My name is Minister EnQi. I am the naturopathic doctor and the spokesman for the Melanin vs. Diabetes Ministry. Every time you go to the supermarket without the electrician grocery shopping list, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head. Stop playing Russian roulette with your life. Help us make America great again. Learn how to save time. Learn how to save money with the electrician grocery shopping list on Amazon now. Go to Amazon now. The life you save may be your own. So early on, I started jumping around from the article to understanding the body as electric. And now we're trying to clean it up. Now we're trying to clean it up and bring some semblance of continuity to what we're talking about, right? And that is the evolution of the idea of skin health, along with the evolution of the idea of the body being electric. And the reason those two things are important to understand in relationship to one another is because electricity, right? We go back to our motto, right? The motto is plasma conducts electricity. Plasma conducts electricity. Moving electric fields creates magnetic fields. Alternating electric and magnetic fields creates light, right? Something to that effect, right? That's about it, right? But so basically, if you have light, at some point, you know, you have to have the conversation, or if you have electricity, at some point, you have to have the conversation of light. If you have electricity, you have to have a light conversation. If you have electricity, you have to have a magnetism conversation, which are relatively missing from the popular conversation in terms of the things that most impact our health. Even though if we actually break down the food and we actually break down the idea of what health is, there's always been this association of light and health and sickness. And it's kind of evolved side by side with where science is now, that, you know, makeup, topical ointments, acne programs, like these is multi-billion dollar industries in and of themselves. multi-billion-dollar industries, specialized dermatology, cosmetic surgery, right? All of these things involving the skin to make yourself look, you know, in the smallest part of the financial pie associated with the skin health is the actual skin health. The largest portions of the financial pie is really more about looking younger, which and many times it's not in alignment. Looking younger is not always about looking healthier or making the healthier choice, right? Because it's not always a healthier choice to opt to get some sort of like Botox or injection or plastic surgery or whatever the case may be, versus trying out an alternative, you know, diet and, you know, movement program and all of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? New habits, new routines, right? That they may be totally counterintuitive for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But there's a reason why those are considered cosmetic surgery, superficial, right? And so long term, it may be more intelligent for a lot of those people to have chosen to go the natural route versus right. That's, you know, having a lot of daddy moments today.
Peace and blessings out there to everybody. My name is Dr. EnQi, the founder of the Melanin versus Diabetes movement and ministry. Our goal is to fight diabetes by creating a biochemically literate society, one book at a time, one person at a time, one household at a time. Join us now by going to Amazon.com and getting all of the books, getting all of the books that you can afford, even if you can't read them all. Share them with family, share them with loved ones. Let's begin the study. And if you need tutoring sessions are available at AmericanHealer.website. I can give you one-on-one tutoring through these books. Let's build a biochemically literate society, one person at a time. Thanks in advance.
I'm on Johnny getting a break because my blood pressure is real high. I keep telling y'all, leave me alone.
The Green Man Challenge is all about generational health. We trying to make 10K of a day a bare minimum. You heard? 10K a day of vitamin A, the bare minimum. What? In fact, as the divine soil, we trying to turn you into a plant. We want the various chlorophylls to be in your blood 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We want you to feel the benefit of what it feels like to build a circulating pool of pigments. A circulating pool of pigments. Now, you've never, ever felt your body with a full bloodstream of pigments 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is a brand new level of health to reach, brand new level of mental health and cognitive ability. Pass these seeds on. The Green Man. Yeah. And then there's that. We're going to make sure that your insides are clean.
And that name is Nail, man. I knew this day would come, brother. Once you had sent me that 36-page, well-written treatise, I knew the drugs had worn off. I had to be as critical as possible so that maybe you would leave all this alone. See, we could leave all of that in the past, man. All I want to know is, does 1 × 1 = 2, man? You see, You just couldn't leave well enough alone, could you, Terrence? You know you can't just go around rewriting mathematics, right? It's not for us to do, Terrence. I have to get rid of you once and for all. You ain't gonna kill me, man. Oh, I am going to. Because there's only room for one black genius at a time, Terrence. And that black genius is gonna be...